This transformation happened in just 90 days. Today I'm speaking with Matthew Zettlemoyer, the winner of the 90 Days Transformation Challenge. And what he achieved physically and mentally is honestly just incredible. But most interesting part is how it happened. And by the way, for people watching, Matt, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your age, what you do, when you were in life before this challenge.
Well, I want to start by saying thank you very much for having me on. These last 90 days have been a really amazing experience for me, really impactful on my physical and mental health. And I've just been really grateful to be part of this experience. Um, Before doing this, I was doing normal training, the whole 2 days a week thing, lots of carbs, all that kind of stuff. And I was just always feeling burnout, and I was looking for a change. I was already familiar with your content, with your videos. I was starting to watch your videos and study your bodybuilding philosophies. And when this challenge came up, I jumped on the opportunity to try something out.
All right, great. So, can you tell us a little bit about your training before? So, before we started doing this 90 days challenge and before I sent you the training program or nutritional plan, so what was your training like? And what do you think, what mistakes you were making then?
Yes, sir. So I've been training for probably over 10 years. The first 7 years or so, I was actually doing Olympic weightlifting. It was very fun. I've come to think of it recently as a little more of like ego lifting, or it's a sport, right? So it's like a different mentality, going for the numbers and the single high reps and all these kind of things. Um, I ended up hurting myself quite badly a few times. I'm 42 years old now. Uh, but 10 years ago, I was a little younger, but still not in my 20s, right? But I just kept throwing my back out every 6 to 8 months. It happened like 5 or 6 times. And I just get tired of limping around and just always hurting myself. And I wasn't really happy with how my body looked, even though my numbers were like fairly impressive for like a natural, no steroids or enhancements or anything. I was happy with the sport. It felt good, but I wasn't really getting the results I wanted. So I started bodybuilding specifically to spare my back to a certain extent, and then to try to change how my body looked. And it was frustrating because I was very dedicated. I showed up, I never missed a single session. I really prided myself in always doing exactly what was recommended on the program. And I just really didn't ever change. Small arms, like I, and I spent years doing that. And I was doing 2 times a week, maybe even sometimes 3 times a week per muscle group. And I was just really going. My understanding at the time of intensity was just weight, the tonnage. So the heavier I could lift, the better the results should be. And after a year or so, year and a half, I remember I kind of hit a wall, and I just felt like a zombie all the time. Felt like I was sleeping through the day, and I was just brain fog, and it was terrible. I was eating lots of carbs, and it just wasn't working. And I was really confused why I wasn't getting the results from the people on the internet. I am natural, so who knows about those people? But yeah, it was just very frustrating, and I was on the verge of giving up. But then I found you, and I feel extremely fortunate. All of your philosophies align with kind of what I'm going for, and it was very, very awesome, like synergy with what I was hoping to achieve. And I've had really good results. So thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm glad you said this because this will sound very familiar to so many people as well. Because there's so many people who also struggle with these same problems, like training too heavy, training muscle 2 3 times per week, going for numbers, for plates, for weights, and they all come to me eventually with the same issue. They they never change. They got injured. They got frustrated. They're wasting time, wasting money, wasting their dreams, ambitions, and it's really really good point to say, and obviously to have our viewers obviously reflect their own situation on the same subject. So, can you tell us a little bit about your diet before we started? You mentioned you were eating a lot of carbs, as so many people do, believing that more carbs you eat, bigger you're gonna get. I don't know why, but tell us your experience.
So when I was at my heaviest, um, with a very, very below average physique, I was eating the normal high carbs, medium protein, low fat approach. I had done a couple body weight cuts with carbs, and it was okay. I mean, I achieved decent results, but it never stayed. I was never able to maintain it, and I just didn't feel great while I was doing it. I felt like I was starving all the time. It was pretty frustrating process, but I always felt inflamed. I do remember that, and I felt like mentally sluggish, if that makes sense. And I slowly started discovering different influencers that advocated for low carb, and I was kind of discovering it whenever I'd also discovered you, and the timing was really good. And I've since, with your diet approach, gone basically zero carbs with moderate fat and high protein, and my results have just been outrageous. Like I feel like I'm in my 20s again, and I'm 42. I don't know if I said that before, right? But I feel young, I feel strong, I feel mentally alert, which is great for my job. I was like a little worried about my career before when I was just feeling overtrained all the time and just burnout. It was affecting my career and my family. I'm a father of two children, and I have a wonderful wife. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm gonna have to stop training because I just figured that's how everyone else trained, and that was the only path. And I was like, well, I'm gonna have to give it up. This is really sad. But because I found your weight training, and we can talk about all the programming and stuff, it just aligns with all my goals, and it's just awesome. It's so good, and the results speak for themselves. My whole family has noticed a change. People at work have noticed a change. Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, it's very good that you said that because obviously people can see all these images that I'm going to show them of your changes, which are incredible. I mean, what one can achieve in 90 days is, a lot of people say, oh, but it's only 3 months. I'm not going to change much, but not necessarily. 90 days is a long, long period of time, and you have made a dramatic change. And yes, all these experiences with carbohydrates that you had, most people have the same experience, which are almost always negative. And I have to say the other participants of this challenge that we've done, which is finished now, uh, also achieved, they have achieved amazing results. Almost everyone has lost 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds in 90 days by switching to this type of diet and training that we will discuss in a minute. And it's simply phenomenal, and it's not just for your look, it's for your aesthetic appearance, but also for your metabolic health, for your well-being. The body functions much better, functions properly, more efficiently where your carbohydrates are low or zero in some cases, and your protein is high and your fat is medium. So why did you choose this challenge specifically? What was the reason for that? What expectations did you have?
So, the reason I chose it, there were a few reasons. One is pretty specific. The timing was exceptional. I actually was moving to a new work location, and just the timing, I was like, wow, this is going to line up perfectly where I can show up while I'm peaked in my best possible physical form, and they're just going to think I look like this all the time. This is great. Yeah. I ended up losing about 25 pounds, which is exceptional. I haven't weighed in the 160s since basic training, which was 15 years ago. That's exceptional. I weigh about 165 right now, and it was awesome. But for the other reasons, probably the more important reasons, metabolic health. I didn't really know at the time what it was, but I have discovered it over the last 90 days by doing research and listening to you speak. I think my metabolic health was absolutely in shambles. Like it was just destroyed, and I've been recovering and healing, and I can really feel the difference. It's been exceptional, and I can't imagine living my life in any other way at this point. So this has been a life-changing experience for me, like no exaggeration. And then I just got real sick and tired of having no results with the other programming. I used some pretty reputable companies. And after a few years, you look back at your photos and you're like, I look exactly the same as when I started. This is total BS. Like, I got to change something. Like, something has to change. Like, you know, I wasn't really against the 1 time a week. I just never tried it out. I never experimented with it because in my mind, I'm like, well, if I could do it twice as much, it should be twice as good, right? The common thing. But it's just not the case, especially being in your 40s. But maybe if you're in your 20s, I have no idea. Or if you're taking some kind of enhancements. But for me, as a natural in my 40s, this is just like you've said, like this is the way to train for the rest of your life, to be safe, not to injure yourself. And I'm like, I could see myself training like this in my 70s, in my eight, all this kind of stuff. It's very exciting. I'm very excited for the future.
Excellent. This is again, you brought a very good point because you see the type of training that I advise you and all other participants and all my clients and everybody actually on YouTube is the type of training that will last for life. So I always insist on that lifestyle change. So you turn this type of training into your daily routine. As you have to sleep every night and you have to eat a few times a day, this is exactly what has to happen. You have to exercise 3, 4, 5 times per week, depending on individual, and you should eat as advised. And that should be for life. And as long as you're doing this, you're actually living in the environment which will be so fertile for your prosperity, not just physical prosperity, but also for your health and also for your mental health. So it's very sustainable, which is the most important thing. You see, the best diet that can exist, whatever that is, it has to be sustainable diet, not something that you can do for 2, 3 months and then you collapse. And this is what
Right.
most people do, and probably you experience the same thing. And also training, training has to be sustainable. Often people say to me, and ask, actually quite often, what about deload? 1 week deload after 2 months of training, or 3 months of training, or 1 month of training. I said, what do you mean deload? Why would you deload from what? If you've done everything right, you will never overtrain. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna feel passionate about your training. You will wait for next session full-heartedly to come. So why would you deload? So
Yeah.
obviously people are doing wrong, probably lifting too heavy, some super high intensity, maybe training muscles twice per week, and they're literally uh, frying their central nervous system and obviously destroying their tendons and ligaments. And this is why they need to deload. So in that
Hmm.
context, maybe yes, but I'm not familiar with that context, and I'm talking about something which is sustainable and which I advise everybody to do for the rest of their lives. And you can train 4 or 5 times per week as you do without taking any deload period or off period. And your diet is, how happy you are and the results you have. Motivation is success is the best motivation you can have. So why would you change this? You want to look good 365 days per year, not just
Absolutely.
1 month during the show period, and then you turn into a blob or something. In the off season you get bulky, chunky, whatever that people are doing. So this is consistency and sustainability of training and diet is absolutely critical.
I do want to say, this is the first time I've ever intentionally cut weight where I really don't think I lost an ounce of muscle. With the old way, with the carbs and all that, I feel like I just lost a ton of muscle. There was one cut that I did where I feel like I lost a lot of my leg muscle and it was a little depressing. I was just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because I lost weight, but it,
Yes.
it was bad weight, right? It was muscle mass. And I don't think I lost, I mean, who knows? Maybe I lost a little bit, but I don't like from the images or the photos, I don't think I lost any muscle. It was incredible.
You
It was
see,
awesome.
I wrote a book which is called Fat Loss, and deliberately I didn't want to put the title weight loss
Hmm.
because weight loss doesn't mean anything. Everybody can lose weight,
Right.
right? But to lose fat, this is a little bit more problematic. So you can't just go ad hoc and start losing fat because it's a complicated process. So basically, losing weight is one thing, and losing fat is something completely different. So
I-
tell me, what do you think was the the hardest during the first 2 weeks of your training? Did you struggle with motivation? Maybe with the nutrition? Can you tell us a few words about that? The hardest part of your first, let's say, two weeks of training, a new regimen.
So the hardest thing for me to wrap my mind around, this is might be a little atypical for most people, but my job is we're all busy people, but my job is very restrictive with my time. So I remember you talked about how if you do these workouts correctly, they should last 50 to 60 minutes. And I was all my workouts were taking 90 minutes, 2 hours, and I was like, what is going on? Like I don't understand. I had a total misconception of what intensity means.
Yeah.
And I was lifting too heavy. I was ego lifting, even though I wasn't doing it on purpose. I didn't realize I was ego lifting. And I was just requiring long breaks in between my sets. Now I'm getting my intensity from using perfect form. I do use very high volume, like you recommend, but I have very short rest breaks. And it ends up being a much more efficient and effective way to work out. And I have gotten every single workout down to 50 minutes, 50, 55 minutes. I time it just to see, like as a game, to see if I could do it, and still get like a really effective workout. And it just works with my work schedule so well right now. Just getting that balance in life so I do the five workouts because it's a little bit more shoulders and arms than the four. But when I get busy, I do go down to the four as a compensation. So just learning how to actually approach your training philosophy with the correct intensity philosophy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was the challenge. But I was able to figure that out within 3 to 4 weeks, through experimenting, trial and error, making mistakes, all that kind of stuff. So
The good thing is actually that the training should not last longer than 50 minutes. There are many reasons for that, and there is absolutely not necessary to do anything longer than 40 to 50 minutes max, because if you rest enough, and enough is just the necessary minimum, right? The necessary minimum, and you, let's say, do 20 sets, then your workout is going to end up in 30-35 minutes. Because remember, sets are very short. They last, in average, if they're good sets, obviously, with perfect time and attention, in average they last around 40 seconds.
mhm.
So let's say you do 30 sets, right? And that will be 600 seconds. This is 10 minutes. So if you're in the gym 1 hour, what are you doing for 50 minutes? Having nice time, chatting, checking Instagram photos and stuff like that. So that people don't realize the training session, active training, is actually very short. If you do 30 sets, that will be around 10 minutes. So basically, you need to, if you rest, even if you rest 60 seconds between sets, right? 1 minute between each set, you will end up in 40 minutes. This is what I do all the time. So
Yeah.
people say, how can you finish 30 sets in 45 minutes? It takes me 3 hours. Well, I'm training. I don't know what you're doing in the gym, but clearly we are not doing the same thing.
I had to stop using my phone because I realized my 60-second breaks would turn into 2-minute breaks pretty regularly, and I was like, "Oh no, this isn't going to work." Because you have a saying, "You step on the tail of your last set." That
Yes,
really blew my mind when you said that,
yes.
uh, and I think about that every time I start my rest break. I don't want to be fully recovered. I just want to be recovered enough to get the next set. And that has totally changed my training. It's been great.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I don't understand why it's so complicated to visualize that. Because if you imagine your session, your workout is a chain of, let's say, 30 sets. So you have 30 sets attached to each other. They make a workout. So you just need to rest as much as is necessary, as much as you need, but not more than that. Because if you rest more than that, you recover fully for every next set. So basically, you're having 30 mini workouts, not one workout. And if you do that, you can do 100 sets because it's going to be so easy. So people who do that, usually powerlifters or weightlifters, in an hour they will perform 5 or 6 sets. They rest 5 minutes between the sets. The reason being, they need to fully recover in order to lift heavier weight in next set because they go pyramid technique, slowly up, 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 and they do 5, 6 sets in an hour, and that's it. But
Right.
this is if you want to be a powerlifter. I don't. I want to just look good, be healthy, lean. I want to, as as I do on my channel and I promote that, I'm only interested in optimal muscle growth and fat loss. I'm not interested in anything else.
Mhm.
So when people say, "Oh, but I want to be strong and I want to be lean and I want to be looking like a bodybuilder," well, you can't be a sprinter and marathon runner at the same time. So if you want to be a powerlifter, that's one thing. If you want to be a bodybuilder, that's something else. So
Absolutely.
can you tell us when at this at which stage actually you realize that these programs that I have sent you are finally working and that you start changing and you know how's that been seeing progress motivation wise? Did that progress motivated you to continue to start pushing forward?
I think one of the things that helped the most, so I took photos every 2 weeks. And because the weight scale can be very deceptive with like stress and water retention and all that kind of stuff. The first couple weeks, I noticed that I could train on an empty stomach really well
Yes.
because you've talked about that a lot in your videos. But sometimes I eat first thing in the morning, but a lot of times I have to work out first thing in the morning. So this way of nutritional approach is very conducive to doing that. And I actually feel like I have the best energy output on an empty stomach because of the food I ate the day before. But I find that it took me a couple weeks. I was losing weight steadily, but I couldn't really like visually tell the difference until about 3 or 4 weeks in. And then it was just like every 2 weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like melting off. Like this is crazy. And then there's the two little things behind my love handles started to go away, and I was like, ooh, I'm getting real lean now. This is great because that's like where I hold fat until the very end, the bitter end. And my face started to lean out, and I didn't realize how like quote unquote chunky I was. I thought it was just how I looked. And then after like 2 months, I was like, holy smokes. And then that was to the point where we really lowered the fat a little bit because we were kind of like bottoming out on our options on like how to lose weight. That's when the nutrition got a little bit challenging, but because I had the progress photos and my wife would tell me, "Wow, you're looking skinny," all that kind of stuff. That kind of motivation really helped me push to more of an elite kind of level of body fat. Um, and it helped me get through the last couple of weeks where we were just eating the cod and the chicken breast and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, I was pretty happy to be done with that little section, and then I can go back up the fat a little bit and have more of a normal approach. But I haven't really. I mean, I maybe put a pound or two back on just to settle, and I got down to 163, and I went back up to 165, and I've just been kind of hanging there, which is awesome because I feel like I'm just crushing it in the gym. It's really cool.
Yeah, I remember photos as you were sending me every 2 weeks, and the changes were so constant, which is amazing. Let us tell our audience about training. So, what was the difference in training that you received the training program from me, and you obviously started experiencing different things, and that was very different than your previous experience.
Definitely the biggest notice was there was a physical thing that was huge, but there's a mental thing that was probably even bigger. Uh, when I trained each muscle group 2 or 3 times a week, once I kind of dug myself into a rut with my recovery, I was dreading. I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I have to do legs right now," or I can't believe I'm dragging myself, just pure grit and determination to just get in the gym and just get it done, just downing caffeine and just struggling to get through the workouts. And now every time I have a workout when it's chest day, I'm like, oh, I'm excited, chest and abs. Let's get it done. Yeah, I wake up in the morning and I open my notes. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. I wonder if I can go up a rep or two here or there or whatever. So psychologically, I'm just like really eager and fired up to get into the gym, which is huge. And then once I'm there, I'm just focused. I don't think about work. I don't even listen to music anymore because I just want to be focused on the perfect form and getting the right amount of time under tension and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a really healthy experience for me. And then physically, I just feel like the one time a week approach for where I'm at in my training and my age and recovery. It's just perfect. Because I know some people might be able to do 5 days, some people could take longer. But for me, the just average 7 days per muscle group is just perfect.
Yeah, you want to say once every muscle group once per week, just to make clear
Mhm.
to our audience. So, can you tell us actually what was your program, the one that I sent to you? What did you do? How did you split your training? Because you were training 5 times per week. What would you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? When did you take day off?
Sure thing.
Yeah.
So Monday was chest and abs
Yes.
and pretty high volume. Off the top of my head, I think it was like 20 to 30 sets, kind of in that range. And then the abs. And then on Tuesday, I did a back day with calves.
Yes.
And then I would take a day off, and then I'd come back, and when my work allowed it, I would say 90% of the time I did 5 days. I do shoulders and hamstrings, which I really, really prefer putting the hamstrings on the shoulder days because if you put it on the leg days, it's like a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
It puts me over the hour mark kind of thing. Um, and then on Friday, that was Thursday. On Friday, I did arms, which is a really fun short session. It was just kind
Sure.
of like I get to bro out a little bit and just work on my arms. I love it. It's great. And then on Saturday would be my quads, my legs. Start out with calves to give them the focus they need. And then for whatever reason, my quads, my legs are just destroyed after the high volume with the 12 to 20 reps. It's rough doing the leg presses, but in a good way, right? And I'm just like, oh, I feel like I got run over by a truck, but then I'm ready by the next week, right? All my other muscles are like, I feel sore, I feel good, but my legs, for whatever reason, the high volume, oh man, it just absolutely tears me up. I can't wait for my legs to explode and just grow. It's gonna be, it's good. They have been, but like, I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. It feels good.
Yeah, this is something many people don't want to acknowledge, and many also don't understand. And this is that for quads especially, you need higher number of reps because quads are made of mixture of different muscle fibers. So now, if you want to mobilize most of them, most of these different muscle fibers, they all grow. You need to do high number of reps. So when people start doing that, from let's say doing 6 to 10 reps for quads, doing squats or leg press, and they move to 12 to 20 reps or even higher, more experienced guys, they experience enormous reaction. First of all is the soreness. So if you think why are your legs much more sore than before when you were doing less reps, it's simply because you have broken more muscle fibers. So the body
Mm,
responds with repair. Now the repair of the damaged tissue, hence high number of muscle fibers, much higher than before, is actually much drastic. So that the repair process is much higher in volume, in intensity. And this is what causes your immune system to respond. And this is what creates muscle soreness. So it's a
mm,
good sign. Usually, when people change exercises, when they do something different, they can experience that. Or change the order of exercises, which will always stimulate slightly more muscle fibers. You always experience muscle soreness more. But when it comes to legs, obviously, you need to understand that the higher number of reps is actually the key to unlock that door of muscle growth in your quads. Can you tell us what did you do for legs, obviously, because they're the most important muscle group anyway?
sure thing. So we start off with the leg press, and then we do. You had program a hack squat after that, but I just didn't have access to that machine, so I do it's called a V squat machine. It's essentially the same kind of movement pattern. But on those two exercises, the first one we do 12 to 20 reps for 5 sets. And then the next one, off the top of my head, I think it was like 15 reps max, like 10 to 15 reps for 5 sets. And those two movements are a big ego check for me because you see the guys in the gym with all the plates on the leg press machine doing 3 reps at like quarter range of motion or whatever. And then I'm over here with like 2 plates on each side and then a 25 doing full range of motion, just like getting 24 reps or whatever. And I'm just like, Totally different, right? So
Yes.
that was cool to kind of put myself in check like that and figure out like it was a good litmus test for like what actual weight I should be lifting. Because you always say there's no lightweight, no heavyweight, there's just the right weight. And that the leg press really put that in perspective for me. It affected all my other lifts because I'm like, I need to get the right stimulus. I don't need to be worrying about how much plates I have on the bar, you know. And then after that, after those two movements, I'm pretty torn up at that point. And then I do leg extensions
Yes.
for 12 to 20 reps for 5 sets.
Excellent. Yeah, good that you said that about people putting too much plates. Often, in the gym where I'm training, machines are taken, and then I jump in with somebody who is doing leg press, as you said, 10 plates each side. The guys are going like very short reps, 5, 6 reps, no legs at all, chicken legs. And then I train in very short shorts. People always staring at my legs, right? And the guy says, are you using the same weight? He said, no, no, no. I'm just going 4 plates each side. And he's looking at me like probably just a warm-up set or something. But no, it's not. But I do 30 reps with 4 plates each side. And I
Oh
do
my gosh.
another set. And that second set is maybe 30, maybe 25. And as I keep going with the same weight, set after set, cracking 30, 28, 25, 25, 22, 20, 18, 17, 15, and then 12, which is my last set.
Mhm.
The other guy has already gone and has probably gone home already, but no legs. And my legs after 2 sets, people think that I'm gonna be competing in a week or two. And I'm
Mhm.
always like that year round. And this is what I do. So I may end up doing 5 sets for leg press, 6, 7, 10, depending how I feel that day. And this is very important. And in your case, whatever weights you're doing now and you're hitting the 20 reps, the day that day arrives that you do 25 reps on with that
Mhm.
weight, then you will increase that weight 5-10%
Mhm.
and keep doing it again, the same principle. Once you break that 20 reps in the first set, you increase the weight again. And you will see how that weight will increase. And it will increase very quickly. Within few months, you're probably doing 4 or 5 plates each side, again, 20 reps. Because this is the natural progression. And the only progressive overload that I understand and I explain and I advise is that when you start doing more reps than recommended in perfect form, then you increase the weight. It's
Mhm.
not the other way around. It's not that you increase the weight and then you drop the reps and sets just because you need to lift heavier. That's not bodybuilding. And the history of bodybuilding has proven that over and over and over again. So yeah, that was a good explanation of what you did. So, do you want to tell us now a bit about your diet as well? How was, as you mentioned in the past, it was high carbs, but then we changed, and how did you adapt? How long it took you to adapt to the diet? And then, obviously, how did you manage the diet? You feel good on that? You feel comfortable? Bloated? Hungry all the time? Not hungry all the time?
Mhm.
Just tell us in few words, because I can get the answer already from your smile, but let the audience know.
So changing, there was a little bit of an adaptation changing over, like for my energy, where my body was tapping into energy and all that kind of stuff. It feels like a much cleaner version of energy. I guess my metabolic health is getting better, all that kind of stuff. I just feel like I have kind of like I still get tired from time to time. You know, I don't have like superhuman, unending energy, but it seems more steady all the time. And I don't seem super concerned with like I need to eat right now. You know, I'm not like freaking out about eating and all this kind of stuff. It turns out maybe I had like a little bit of a sugar addiction, you know, before like because I needed my things, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's more like I use food as a tool now rather than like living to eat. I eat to live kind of thing, you know. And it just feels much more natural and like everything is synergized. Like I don't have to eat 30 minutes after I work out. I can wait an hour, 2 hours, anything like that, like whenever it works out with my work schedule, and it's absolutely fine. I just feel much more in control over my life, I guess, if you want to say it like that. And yeah, I'm not gonna stop eating like this. Like it's been completely life changing.
And can you tell us what was your diet most of the time?
Sure. So we started out. I'm a little bit more on the zero carbs than some people might be. Just I just found that that worked better for me. I'm more of a light switch. If I have a little bit, I just want more. So if I have a little carbs, I just want donuts all the time. It triggers me a little bit. So I just went ahead and just cut them all out, and I just eat moderate fat meat. I made a little bit of a mistake by eating a bunch of ribeyes, and I actually didn't lose weight as fast as I wanted to at the beginning because I think I was just going way too hard on the fat thing. But whenever I started eating a little bit more leaner cuts, still a decent amount of fat, but especially compared to other people, but more of a moderate amount of fat, then my weight just started coming down very consistently. Every single day I'd lose a little bit, a little bit. It's like my body felt safe to let it go. And then I just started losing it. It was great. I eat way more protein than I used to. I think it's around like 225, 230 or something grams. And then I eat like 100 to 120 grams of fat. It's like was that a 1 to 2 ratio or something? Um, Before I was like 1 to 1 and it was too much fat. So I like you recommend I do like half the amount of fat that I do the protein. And that is such a good sweet spot. And then if my weight slowed down at all, like if I hit like a maintenance kind of thing, I just lower the fat just a little bit and try to keep the protein.
Yeah, this is something very common. A lot of people who join this 90 days challenge, other participants, they were saying in the beginning, oh, I'm on carnivore diet, so it's like a kind of entitlement, I belong to the pack, to the clan, right? We're the same tribe, we are carnivore people, but they they were not really in good shape. They were really really fat. They had a lot of body fat. So I said, look, you're eating a lot of fat. So when they send me their diet, that's like 300-400 grams of fat, 200-300 grams of protein. I said, where do you get it? They put extra butter, extra olive oil, extra lard, extra this, extra that. I said, no, if you want to lose fat, you have to eat less fat than protein. So whoever tells you different, good luck, but it's not going to happen. So you experience that firsthand. So I advise always 1 gram of protein, 0.5 grams of fat for most people. So if
Mhm.
you're extremely lean, extremely fast metabolism, training 5 times per week, really advanced, you may get away with more fat. But for most people, for majority, including myself, I'm never more than half amount of fat than protein, because even the half amount of fat will be more in calories than protein, because protein
Yeah.
is only 4 calories, while one
Hmm.
gram of fat is nine. So it's more in caloric value than protein, and even that has to go down if you want to get harder, if you want to lose more. So this is very important. So how much meat did you eat every day, and how much eggs? How many eggs?
So my staple breakfast was 6 eggs, and then each meal, if I ate 3 meals a day, sometimes I'd have to finagle it a little bit. Like I might eat 3 eggs and then a pound of meat twice a day, or I could eat 3 meals with 6 eggs in the morning, a cup of coffee, and then for lunch I would eat 400 to 450 grams, which is essentially just under a pound, 400. And then for lunch and dinner. And the meat I ate was like tri-tip, which is a really good half a gram to a gram ratio, or ground beef, like 93.7 ground beef. Before I was eating 80/20 and it was a little out of control. It was too much fat. I was like, this tastes so good. This is awesome. And then my weight stalled. I was like, oh crap. But the sweet spot for me was the 93.7 ground beef. Easy. You just do a couple patties, you're good to go in the tri-tip and different cuts of steak. Top sirloin was my go-to, cheap at Costco, super affordable. It's not like ribeye where it's like $15 to $20 a pound. It's like $8 to $9 a pound, super affordable, really tasty, and it just was the perfect spot for me. I didn't really have to intentionally cut the fat until like the last month, and I was just pretty comfortably full. Like I wasn't like stuffed, I wasn't super hungry, very manageable for the first 2 months, like very manageable. I could eat like that forever.
Good.
And then the last month we did cut down on the fat quite a bit. We went to more leaner cuts and I got some pretty incredible results at that point.
Okay, so can you tell us how did you feel seeing your final transformation? Did it shock you? Did you look at yourself because your pictures are fantastic. The difference between before and now are crazy. And what was the reaction of other people? Also, how did you feel mentally about all that? What is the part that you're most proud of?
It made me feel really hopeful that I can still pursue something like this into my 50s and 60s, and it gives me like a lot of motivation to keep going. I was pretty excited. I would say I'm pretty shocked, but at the same time, I did believe in myself. I thought that I would be able to achieve it because I really believe in your philosophies as well. But having the contest specifically to hold me accountable was a huge thing for me because it's so easy to come up with reasons to go off the diet. Oh, I'll have a piece of cake here or there. One donut's not going to be that big of a deal. That's my little sugar voice, my sugar addict voice right in the back of my head. But having the contest, I mean, I was like 98% strict for 3 months. I had a one day where I kind of went off the rails because I was moving and I was stressed out or whatever, but it was just one day. And I got back on the train and having the contest really held me accountable. And I was like, nope, I can do this. It's just 90 days. I can do it. And it was great. And it showed me what I was capable of. And it's going to give me a lot of hope for the future that like it's not worth it to eat that nonsense food. The maybe for like a birthday once a year or something like that, but like once a week, once a month, it's just not worth it. It's self-sabotage and all that kind of stuff. And to see that what my body is still capable of, um, it was just great, very motivational.
How did people react to your changes? Your wife, friends, family?
My wife loved it. Yeah, she was like, "Wow, you're getting too skinny." uh, kind of teasing me or whatever. Um, I at work it was so great. Like I mentioned this before, I left I PCS, I'm in the Air Force, so I went to a new duty station and I got to show up and I'm getting the opportunity to serve as a first sergeant in the Air Force. So you kind of lead by example. And the visual aspect of leadership is really, really impactful to people.
Of course.
And having people be able to look up to me as like an example of for body composition, for even for like self-discipline, all these different virtues, like excellence in all we do, all this kind of stuff. Being able to be in this top, almost like competition form, like for a contest. At work, it's like a day-to-day thing for me. I can set the example to all these people that look up to me as the first sergeant in that role. And it just puts me in such a good position to where I can have a positive influence on all the people around me. And it's something I'm not going to let go of. So I thank you for the opportunity to attain this.
So, yeah, you're most welcome, obviously. And what would you say to somebody watching this interview who feels stuck right now? What would you tell somebody who is afraid to start? And what was the biggest lesson from these 90 days?
I think the biggest thing for me was to just sign up for the contest. It sounds simple, but you sign up, and then once you're signed up, you're kind of locked in. You're like, well, I signed up. I'm not going to quit. I made the investment, and I have these other people. It is a competition, but it's not like negative. It's positive competition, and you check in with you on a regular basis. You take the progress photos, and the fear and the anxiety does go away. And you may think like, this is just how I look. This is just how I feel, but you have no idea how good you can look and feel at the end of 90 days. And it might not even hit until 5 or 6 weeks in. You just got to have faith in the process and just go for it. Just dive in. And the worst thing that happens is that 90 days go by and you don't get the results you want, and then you're no worse than you started, but that's not going to happen. You'll have excellent results.
So, what was the biggest lesson that actually you learned from this 90 days challenge?
My biggest lesson is that I got to stop overtraining and that I got to allow myself to recover. The recovery aspect is so huge. It's helped me psychologically. I can't stress how much better I am in a mental health standpoint after going through this. And my sleep is better, and I'm just much more dialed in with every aspect of my life. So I learned that I could do this, and I want to keep doing it.
So, would you do it again?
I told Nicole, I said, I want to spend probably like something like 2 or 3 years doing slow muscle gain, right? So basically at maintenance, trying to, what is it, 3 to 5 pounds a year of like natural lean body mass. So that's really slow. It's not the 1/2 pound to 1 pound a month like everyone else suggests, because that's all fat, right? It can't be muscle. It's like if you're not on drugs. So I want to put on muscle, and then before I leave this current duty station, I want to do a competition, and then I would do another 90-day challenge to prepare for that competition. My first time ever on stage. I never thought I'd ever do something like that,
You
but
will.
this experience has motivated me, and I'm gonna say, Dr. Josic, can you please coach me so I can peak for this competition? And we'll see what kind of results we can get. It'd be awesome.
I can't wait. But would you recommend this 90 days challenge to others as well?
Absolutely. I have coworkers that would benefit from this. It would be life-changing for them. I can't force them to do it. But I kind of wish I could, but that would be unethical. But I could strongly recommend them do it. And I'm going to take aspects of what I learned from this to counsel them and to help them. Um, and it's going to be great. But anyone who's willing to jump in and sign up, I would strongly advocate that they do this.
Okay, Matthew, thank you very much, first of all, for achieving such fantastic result, which a lot of our viewers are going to recognize and they'll be really proud of you. And thank you for this interview, for telling us all about your experience, because this is the most important thing. So people can learn from first-hand experience in this world of scientific researches and experiments, which are proving all fantastic possibilities now.
Right.
This is rare that you have somebody real talking about the real change and real success. So once again, thank you very much, and I hope we are going to have you soon again in another good interview once you change again, or when you decide to do the bodybuilding show, we will do that again together. And I would just like to say to everybody that exactly for the same reasons as you have changed and the results that you have achieved, I decided to do another one, and the new transformation challenge starts on the 1st of June, and everybody is welcome to join, obviously, and I wish that many people who are watching this can be the successful transformation story as you were. So thank you very much again for your participation, and I wish you all the best in your new journeys, bodybuilding journeys.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. It's been life-changing, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. And it's just been an awesome experience. Thank you so much.